Guys, good morning. This is Lorenzo YouTube channel. Thank you very much for subscribing, liking, and sharing all our YouTube content. In our last video, we described how weather and inadequate airport facilities affects flight delays and cancellations. So here, we're going to dwell more and describe how adequate or inadequate airport facilities also affect flight delays, stating the things that can be done better that will make airports or airfields more usable. Now, depending on the category that is in operation in any airport, let's say we're using category one. Of course, almost all the airports in Nigeria are operating under category one. We have different categories. We have Cat 1, Cat 2, Cat 3A, B, and C. So, but in Nigeria, we're going to center on category one, which the horizontal visibility is 800 meters or more. Runway visual range is about 550 meters or more, and decision altitude is about 200 feet. For some of us, I don't know what is decision altitude is. That altitude that the pilot getting to that altitude would decide either to continue landing, shooting approach to land, or do a missed approach, that's go around. So the horizontal visibility is the ability for somebody to see and identify an object. And for the category 1 operation, you need minimum of 800 meters. And the runway visual range, that one we're going to discuss in details because it's a lot of information there. So I will just proceed. Do you know that inadequate navigational equipment or uh, adequate navigational equipment can affect flight delays or help flights to be on schedule? Let me explain. In some airports that you have inadequate facilities, maybe non-precision approaches, like in some small airports that you have aeronav, it is difficult for an aircraft to go into those places during the Harmattan hazy period because of the reduction in horizontal visibility, which is below the operating minima of that station. So in turn, airlines or operators will check all those things. When they are below the required, they will only wait for the weather to improve. And during those periods, it's almost at a minima for those weather to improve. So if those weather don't improve, the flight may be delayed or maybe cancelled. So for some of all these airports in the southeastern Nigeria, the weather delays is caused by some of all those inadequate navigational equipment. So for some airports that have adequate navigational equipment like the precision that provide precision approaches like Lagos, Kano, Abuja, and Port Harcourt, they have what is called ILS, which is widely used, Instrument Landing System, which provides both vertical and horizontal, lateral guidance. The vertical guidance is provided by the glide slope, and the lateral guidance is provided by the localizer, or the horizontal guidance, yeah, is provided by the localizer. So these things help guide aircraft to land, but without installation or installed and lack of proper maintenance of all these equipments will cause delays, because if we don't have the required horizontal visibility, it is not legally allowed for an aircraft to still take off, knowing that you are flying into a place that you don't have the required horizontal visibility. So that's how inadequate navigational equipment affect flight delays, actually causes flight delays. So that's why you see that towards the Harmattan period, towards the December period, flights are massively delayed here, because most airports in the country, apart from these four I mentioned before, don't have those precision approach equipment. Yes. So, but for some of those airports that have all those precision approach in the equipment, even in the reduced period of visibility, even in the reduced visibility periods, you can see shoot approach, because those navigational aids are meant to now guide you in the absence of your physical eyesight. So, without proper navigational equipment or adequate navigational equipment in some of these airports, it will be very difficult for airlines to plan and do a flight into all those zones. So, what I'm trying to say here is next time you plan your flight, next time you plan your trip, be aware of this and don't go and be fighting in the airports, because there are certain reasons that are guiding operators, guiding airlines, and guiding every other authorities or service providers around the airports who discharge their duties to carry in from point A to point B. In our last video, we're going to be describing further how these translate into our life and how to work around this not to affect your plan schedules, especially this period, because this period, dust is from Sahara Desert. Don't forget that Nigeria is bordered to the north by Sahara Desert. So it's a natural phenomenon that dust is from the Sahara Desert is moving towards the monsoon. So it's going to pass through the Western Africa, thereby carrying a lot of dust from Sahara Desert and reducing the horizontal visibility. You notice that during that period, it's difficult for you to see and identify objects. So this in turn is like a challenge to those in aviation sector. Yes. So in our last video, in the next video, we are going to explain more and describe how they relate and affect us. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Shalom.